Capital Outsider, and I'm interviewing
Eric Egnon.
Good name. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. And Andrew tells me that you're in charge of comfort.
Yeah.
That's a nice. Is that a good thing to be in charge of, or especially on a morning like today?
It can get a little hectic at times, but it gives me, I get that warm feeling inside knowing that I'm helping other people.
Okay.
It also makes me, by doing it, it makes me appreciate how well people can come together, how the support is incredible. I mean, we have people from all walks of life donating anything and everything you can think of. It's great. I took it on.
Have you been here right from the start?
Yeah.
Right. So it's been a week.
Yeah.
And how's that week gone?
It'll be a week in 1 hour and 5 minutes. We'll be here for a week.
How has that week gone for you?
It's been one of the highlights of my life. I've met some of the most incredible people. I have my own issues of why I was here.
Why are you here?
I'm here for the future of my son. I feel the way things are going, by the time my son gets to be my age, that there can be nothing for him.
How old is he?
He's 2 now.
2 years old, okay. And what do you mean there's going to be nothing for him?
They're already talking about Social Security might be gone. They're already talking about, the way things are going.
See, I remember my grandparents would talk about Social Security being gone in the early 70s.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to be
It's still going.
Right.
I'm just concerned more or less that, if you want to go to school, they got it set up almost now, so you go to school and you're in debt for your life. They want you to be. They want you to have to constantly be paying.
Now, who's they? Who's they?
The 1%ers.
The 1%ers. Tell me about the 1%ers.
Oh, the 1%ers control 40% of the country. They own 40%.
They have 40% of the wealth, or they control the actual country itself? They don't control the park here, otherwise they'd presumably kick you out, right?
Well, they thought they did, but
okay.
we kind of got a loophole on that one, I guess. So, I mean, we're the first city. Getting a little off subject, but we're the first city where the police are on our side. They sort of.
That's
support.
right. Jerry Jennings, the mayor of Albany, has said that, and David Soares, for that matter, too. The district attorney has said that they won't prosecute anybody occupying the party. Now, if somebody occupied your front yard, how would you feel about that?
Me personally, I don't have a front yard to occupy, but
okay.
I mean, the way I look at it, if this was, even if this was my property, it's peaceful. There's nothing. We have a zero tolerance policy. There's no drug use. There's no alcohol use. We try
it kind of takes all the fun out of it, though, doesn't it?
No, that's not what this is about. This is not a party.
All right.
This is not a party.
You can't relax at the end of the night?
It's not a party.
All right.
This isn't a party. Yes. We're on a mission. This is our, not war, so to speak, but this is what we're. It's not, the drug.
So now, are you trying to accomplish something legislatively? I mean, obviously you're right across the street from the Capitol here. Has anybody from Power stopped by and been sympathetic, or said, "Yeah, we're into what you're doing"?
We have support. We have people that come from the lunch breaks and hold signs with us, and then go back to work.
Politicians?
I don't know about politicians, but they come through, and nobody's. Like you can hear the horn just beeping. I mean, we're gaining support. If anything else. People think we're just out here to squat. They're calling us dirty hippies, just hang out.
Right.
That's not the case. We have war veterans, we have doctors, we have lawyers,
right.
We have, nurses. You hear the support of the buses, even the police waving to us. If anything else, we're opening people's eyes to, the people that were like, what the hell are they doing out there?
Right.
Now they're learning what we're doing out here, and they're starting to realize, wow, there's a lot going on.
Well, what are you teaching the people who are learning?
They're learning how bad it is, the bailouts. How can you bail a company out and then they pay $1 million bonuses? Nobody's bailing me out of my student loans. Right. If I go into default on my student loan, I'm screwed.
But don't you think that if you tax the rich even more, you're just going to enable that activity more? Even if you're just going to justify giving them more money to do more of what they do, right?
Well, not really. I mean, if we're taxing them, we're taking some of their money.
Aren't they going to just go invade Iran at that point, right? They keep that money, they go into debt, and they go, oh, we need more. The only people left with it is the rich, so we'll get the rest from them, and then we'll just keep going.
That's another problem, invading all these other countries and then going back and rebuilding them when we can't even build our own country.
Right.
That's another issue.
Right.
So that's what I mean.
Let me ask you this: did you vote for Obama?
I did.
Right. Did you think has anything gotten better since he's been elected?
Well, the only change I see is us doing this. That's the only change I see happening so far.
He didn't get out of Guantanamo like he promised,
he didn't promise. I did read somewhere supposedly that he had said the Iraq War is over. So what that means, I thought it was over 15 years ago.
No, guys like Ron Paul, Republicans like Ron Paul say, no, they're not leaving Iraq, right? I mean, doesn't he seem a little bit more legitimate when he talks about the war than any of these other guys?
He's a little more honest about it, at least. At least he's not, BSing, so to speak, as much. Like I said, there's a support. I mean, it's 24/7.
Right. So, what are they? What the focus at this point? Where is there an end game?
There is no end game. The end game would be when the changes come, when this country is not divided.
So you guys are going to just do this until the changes come?
Absolutely.
And the changes are coming from where?
From everywhere. From everything from the millionaire tax to coming home from the war to taking care of our own country to not.
Doesn't it make more sense to go out and act politically then, rather than just kind of as a random protest?
I'm not a politician. This isn't really a random protest. This is accomplishing to me personally is all these different issues, like you're saying, are being addressed. They're being brought up, and more people are becoming aware of them, so that we can come as a unified group rather than just a couple of people.
The unified group is the occupiers, or just people in general?
Is that what it is, Bill?
It's the world in general, but the occupiers are.
But doesn't that require political consensus on some level?
Well, at some point in time, there's going to be politics.
So doesn't everybody just break down and vote for Republicans and Democrats in the end anyway?
Yeah, but eventually, I think what I see happening is it's going to come to where there's politicians that are our side. The politicians are going to open their eyes to what's going on, to what people need.
But what if they say, oh, you guys represent such a small percent of the voting electorate that you can't put your needs ahead of theirs? You're saying their needs are the same.
We're not doing. Some of them are going to start realizing that. I think some of them already have. I mean, it's not just Occupy Wall Street, or Occupy Albany, or Occupy Oakland, or Occupy Chicago, or Occupy Belgium, or Occupy Spain. It's going global. Globally, people are voicing their opinions of what needs to change, and eventually, somewhere, somebody's going to step up to the plate and be that new leader, the man that we need to lead.
So you're looking for a leader?
Not for us, for the country in general, for the world in general, for that matter.
Don't leaders just get you into war and debt and all kinds of grief, right? I mean, why do you need a leader? Right? Just lead your own life.
We
right?
could. We have a fully functioning society here, and there's no one quote unquote leader of us. We're all.
He says now you guys have meetings at 5:30 every night.
Every day to the General Assembly, where every issue, every problem, every idea is discussed. It's voted on democratically.
How do you protect the minority within the majority?
Everything's democratically done.
Well, democratically done means sometimes the minority suffers at the hands of the majority, right?
Well, everybody
it's not the golden thing that everybody thinks it is.
I don't think there's ever going to be a golden thing where, but I haven't left the General Assembly or seen people leave the General Assembly upset. Everything is discussed.
Yeah, but if you get more people, they're going to be upset, right? Not everybody's going to agree. Once you get more people, you're always going to have divisions, right?
True, good point. But at the same time, everybody's voice is heard, unlike the way it goes now. I mean, if it takes 3 hours on one subject, we take 3 hours on one subject.
But you guys are just deciding how to keep the park clean and what to eat at night. You're not deciding how to do the roads or wage wars,
right? There's a lot more going on than that. Where we're going, what's the next step, how are we proceeding? We have legal representation. I mean, it's a very, there's people involved with politics, and people involved with unions, and people involved with legal, and all issues.
How is the interface with the regular? I understand that you probably don't get an interview like this from the regular media at any level.
No,
how's that been going in your estimation?
I personally have talked to the media. We have a very well.
Channel 10, Channel 13.
Channel 10, Channel 13, Fox News, WNYC. I've talked to AM Radio. I was also on.
Now, when they interview you, do you think that they have an agenda or anything like that when they're doing
stuff?
Well,
by going to television.
I have an agenda. I always have an agenda when I go into this. I'll let you know that right away.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I think that some of them do. I think that some of them are trying to find that negativity part of it. They're trying to provoke somebody to say something bad,
right.
Or by sticking a camera right in somebody's face, they're hoping they say, get the hell away from me or whatever.
Right.
But it's not happening.
Right.
We're all adults for the most part. I mean, there are some younger children here, obviously, but the people that are talking are, trying to get a point across, not trying to say, hey, get out of my face with that camera, or hey, go away, because the media is a good tool. I mean,
I've heard that.
It is.
I heard there's a lot of tools in the media too.
Well, you work in media, so you'd understand.
Not really. This is just a hobby.
Okay, well,
it'll be on the internet or whatever.
Okay, they've been great. They really have been. They haven't really tried to provoke somebody. They had one camera operator who was kind of being a little on the pushy side, and by me going to television school, I grabbed a group of people together, had a little meeting, and like, look, that's their job.
Right.
His job is to get a better shot than him. His job is to get a better shot than him. or her. So, of course, they're going to be up on anything they see. So be aware of that, and if you have a problem, you can politely turn and go away. Don't provoke them. And no matter how bad they provoke you, you have to realize what you're representing, and that they're looking for somebody to do something stupid, say something stupid, because that's what's going to be all over the place.
Now, do you guys do you give a little talk or a seminar or a little education about that type of approach to everybody else?
That's also stuff that's brought up at the General Assembly. There's work groups for anything you can think of here. How to relate with the media, how to relate with the press, how to cook food.
Not who's got the bong.
How to keep the...
Not who's got the bong, though. Right?
No, there's absolutely zero tolerance here. Zero.
Why? Are you in favor of the drug war? Isn't that a horrible thing that the government?
I personally am not. I'm not in favor of a drug war at all. Okay. I'm not in favor of that at all.
It risks too much by doing it. Basically,
I think
is what you're saying.
What's happening is
I hate the drug war. It drives me crazy. I think it's immoral. I think it's insane.
I just think there's too much bloodshed and too much money for something. I mean, I don't agree with certain drugs at all.
Right.
You know, I don't think they're good in any way, shape, or form.
Should one drug be illegal or another one legal?
Well, alcohol is legal, so already one drug is legal.
Or aspirin's legal.
Aspirin's a drug, caffeine's a drug, nicotine's a drug. Right. So it's where do you draw the line on that? That's still, that's a whole other issue we could debate for hours, I'm sure.
We're not looking. That's not what you're.
Our movement's not about that. Our movement's about kids that go to school not being able to afford it, cuts in education where that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about if my kid can get an education, if my kid can be able to get a job, are there going to be jobs for my kid to get?
Right.
That's my part of my part of the movement. Why is it that a person is eating filet mignon and drinking champagne sitting next to a guy eating out of a dumpster?
Well, see, now I bought some filet mignon. There's a guy comes around my house and he sells this like frozen meat out of the back of his truck, and it's pretty good. It's called Capital Foods, but it doesn't cost that much money. And my wife and I enjoy occasional nice piece of meat.
No. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing.
And if I see a poor person right there, I love to help them out and do
that's how it should be for everybody, but it's not.
But you want to force the government to force people to do that, right?
Not so much force. They shouldn't have to be forced.
Right, but the government is about force, though, isn't it?
Well, yeah, unfortunately, and they shouldn't do.
Right, but how could you make it otherwise?
Well, they're supposed to be for the people. When are they going to start being for the people? They're lucky. Why do people?
Has governments ever been anything but for themselves?
At times they were better than they are now.
Give me an example.
I think things were better in this country 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago. Right. I think things were going better. It's just everything is going up besides wages.
Right, but then you tell me you vote for Obama.
Yeah, I voted for Obama.
He continues the wars.
How
is that better, right?
That's not better.
Are you going to vote for him again over, say, Mitt Romney?
I don't know if I'm going to vote, period.
Okay, well, then what good does that do? How does that help the people then, right?
It doesn't, but there's nobody right now that I would vote for.
Nobody? You ever vote for third party?
That may be the way to go.
Ever? Have you ever voted third party?
To be honest, last year was the first time I ever voted, or the last election was the first time I ever voted.
Right. Ever voted?
It was the first time I ever voted in my life, because I felt that, I was one of the people that believed the hype, so to speak, that, the big change would come and this is what we need.
Right.
Because that's what we want. We want those big changes.
Why didn't you ever vote before?
I never felt it made a difference. I really, that may be the wrong thing to say, but I never really felt that. I feel that the people get in that office.
So would you say your political awareness is 2-3 years old at this point?
Yeah.
Then? Really? Okay, that's interesting.
I'll be honest on that.
Now, when I was talking to Andrew earlier, I was trying to make some parallels between the Tea Party movement and the Occupy movement, and he seemed to get his ideological rears up a little bit. But the parallels that I made, and we'll interview you too later, buddy. The parallels I made was it's a leaderless setup and it's not political.
The Tea Party?
Mm-hmm.
I really honestly...
They said that all the time.
I really honestly don't know a whole lot about the Tea Party, to be totally honest.
Okay, that's fair.
I know that they also want change. That's about what I know about them.
Right.
I know they're a little more radical than we are.
So let's occupy the Capitol. Come on, let's fight them, right? I mean, isn't that what we should do?
We should.
Right? When can we violently take these people over?
No, absolutely not.
No violence.
No violence. Zero violence.
I'm in agreement with you.
Zero violence. No violence. No, zero tolerance.
But isn't that how this country was formed, on kind of that cusp of violence? And they were just fighting over a tea tax. Well, technically, right? A tea tax.
This country was formed on let's take 3%. Something over and let's just do it.
Right.
So
So if you're going to occupy the Capitol, you got to get involved politically, don't you think?
Well, I guess so, on some extent. Which, I mean, they had
this isn't too much for you. You're okay with all this still?
No, I'm fine.
Right? I'm not trying to press you too hard.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. You're asking good questions, and I'm trying to give you the best answer I can.
I appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. And you're an Eric too, so that's always helpful.
But on the political end of it, you know, I'm not a big political person. I feel
But you are. You're occupying a public land with a specific purpose or idea.
Yeah, so
isn't that political? That's political, right?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Okay. So, I mean, is there going to be a breaking point where the movement decides, yes, the best thing that we can do is become political, or do we take the offhand chance that by occupying this park for an unknown amount of time, something's going to change?
Well, this is all leading up to July of 2012.
It is.
July of 2012 is when they go to whenever they go to Washington.
Occupy Washington. All right. So how long has that been in the cooker? Because the movement's only been going on since like the end of September, right?
Yeah, started September 17th.
When did they occupy Washington? Is this the first anybody's known about this?
No, it's something that's...
Are we breaking something here?
It's something that's been, you know, there is going to be a march on Washington on July 4th.
Well, now suppose your assembly here at Albany decides, well, we don't agree with how the other people are doing the Washington thing, so we're not going to participate. Would you be okay with that?
I'd be fine if that's what happens.
But would you still maybe go down and support it on another level anyway?
If that's what I feel should be done, yes.
Okay.
I mean, that's a long way away still. We got a lot, but that's why these things are happening. I mean, it started with just Occupy Wall Street. That was the beginning.
Right.
Now there's 290 something cities in America
Occupy
alone.
Wall Street has like almost $500,000 in the bank.
Yeah.
Now I'm a former chairman of the Libertarian Party of New York, and so is Jeff over here.
Okay.
If we had that kind of money, man, we'd be running kick-ass candidates and trying to like really get our point across.
Well, if we keep going farther, let's say what we can accomplish above and beyond that. Why, you know, if we keep going, we have donations coming in at all places. We have more people amassing, more people learning.
People are just sitting in their offices, on their phones, on their computers. They're oblivious to anything that you're doing out here.
Well, they think we're nothing but a bunch of quote-unquote dirty hippies. You know, they don't think anybody out there knows that.
Talk about that. You talk about how the media has treated you fairly decently on that. What's the backlash, not at the risk?
There's really hasn't been a lot of bad. I mean,
you're saying they're calling you dirty hippies. Is that a direct quote, or is it just kind of what you think?
That's been direct quotes from some people. They think, you know, you have people posting online, you know, get a job, you dirty hippies, go to school, you know, get a job, go to work. If you look around, there's not a lot of people here right now. You know why?
They're at work.
That's
what Andrew told me.
They're at work.
Yeah, that's right.
When we come back, they come back from work, and then they come occupy.
Right.
I have a job. I also have an occupation.
What's your occupation?
My occupation's right here.
Oh, okay. What's your job?
My job is I'm a DJ.
Well, for what station?
No, I like nightclub DJ.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to get to talking to some other folks. I'd appreciate anybody you might be able to set us up with to talk to next or whatever like that. But I can't promise no mercy in the course of it. But
no,
you know,
that's what you're doing. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing. If it was one-sided, then it wouldn't be the way it's supposed to be.
Well, that's right. And we're Eric's.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice talking to you.
All right. Take care, Eric.
All right.